Welcome to Maximizing Efficiency for Probability, Leveraging MakersHub in Value-Based Pricing Accounting Firms. I'm Joel from the Earmark team, and you can earn CPE for this webinar using the Earmark mobile app. Download the app by scanning the QR code on your screen, or search for Earmark on the App Store or Google Play Store. Unlike traditional webinars, Earmark does not use polling questions during the presentation. Instead, you will verify your learning by taking a short quiz. Once the quiz is available, we will notify you via email. You can use the app to take a short quiz and earn CPE certificate, and earn your CPE certificate. So don't worry about polling questions or attendance checks today. Enjoy the webinar and look out for an email in the next few days with a link to the quiz to earn CPE. Now, let's welcome our instructor, Ted McRae.
Thank you, Joel. Thanks, everybody. It's nice to have everybody here. As you can see, I'm here in, well, you can't see, but I'm in somewhat sunny. Actually, not today. It's raining like crazy. So if you hear rain in the background, I apologize. I'm in Southern California here, Ventura, California. We're going to talk today a little bit about MakersHub, but mostly about like the new paradigm in value-based accounting efficiency, and how efficiency in a value-based firm actually can help you create more revenue streams, give you more value to your clients, and do things like that. And we're going to show you a little bit how this efficiency is created with MakersHub. Cool. So let's do a little bit of introductions. Joel introduced me a little bit, but my name is Ted McRae. I am the director of marketing over here at MakersHub. You can find me at T McRae at makershub.ai. A little bit about my background. So I worked for a tiny little company called Intuit. You guys have probably heard of them. And worked for them off and on. You know how the employees at Intuit go for roughly around 7 years. Started out in their payroll division and ended up in partner marketing or partner sales. Then also did another little 4 or 5 years over at a small company called Xero. It was small when I started. I was employee number 15 at Xero US and helped with their go-to-market plan for their partners. Just recently, I was at Accounting Suite for 7 years and helped them grow their partner acquisition and basically help them become a well-known name in the accounting industry. And now I'm over here at MakersHub and helping with their marketing outreach, their go-to-market plan for their partner team. So that's a little bit about me. We're going to go through a quick little agenda here and talk really about, we did introductions. I'm just going to cross that one out, but we're going to talk about what value-based pricing is. I hope that most of you already know what value-based pricing is. Some of you may have tried it or are actually maybe a little bit scared to actually bring it into your firm because you just don't understand how it can help you be profitable. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to talk about the productivity paradox. You guys might have seen this Bob's Barbecue. I'm going to show this to you. It's a video that kind of pokes fun at the way hourly based pricing works and how it doesn't promote good customer service. We're going to talk about the value-based pricing, introductions to MakersHub, and then we're going to go into a demonstration of the efficiencies within MakersHub. And as we go through the demonstration, I'd like you to imagine not only how you're doing it now. You may feel you're fully automated right now, and you're as automated as you can possibly be with the bill process, right? Getting your bills in, making the few changes that you may need to do, or a lot of changes that you may need to do. But I want you to think about how you're currently doing it now. If you like Bill.com or one of these legacy software solutions, and how I'm doing it within MakersHub. So we're going to do a little compare and contrast there. We're going to talk about key takeaways, and then I'm going to go into some frequently asked questions with regards to value-based pricing. Okay, so what is value pricing strategy? So value-based pricing strategy is really just selling primarily on the value of the full services of your firm, right? So you may have 3 different pricing categories based on the level of interaction that you have with the client. But regardless if you're spending 50 hours, hopefully not, on a client or 50 minutes or even 5 minutes on a client, you're going to charge them the same pricing for the value, for the package that they're receiving, right? It's a customer base, and it allows you to actually price on the whole totality of what your firm can offer to the client, right? So that's really value-based pricing in a nutshell. Obviously, in some cases, you're going to have one-off pricing, right? Because not everything is covered under this whole value-based pricing structure. Somebody may need you to do a special project that you can quote however you want. I would say you should quote that as a lump sum as well, regardless of the time it's going to take you. If it's going to take you 10 minutes or 10 hours, you need to factor that in a little bit, but quote based on the totality of the job that you're doing on these extra type projects. Okay, so we'll go into navigating the productivity paradox. So we all have a universal time constraint, and that universal time constraint is that unless you have some sort of magical powers, we all only have 168 hours in a week, right? No matter what you do, you can not have any more hours than that as an individual. So time becomes a limiting factor in growth in your firm, right? So as a sole proprietor of a firm, I can't charge any more hours than I can actually work. I mean, unless you're dishonest, which I know none of you are. So time is a limitation, right? So in order to increase revenue in an hourly based firm, you either need to increase your prices or hire, right? And if you hire, now there's a lot of factors that go into that. You have to obviously pay the salary. You have to train them. You have all these things that are really in this paradox that make it very hard to expand your book of business when you're in an hourly based pricing. Value-based pricing, on the other hand, the more efficient you become, the more money you can make, right? And what we found is technology, especially cloud technology, boosts efficiency by 30% in most firms. So hourly based pricing, you bring in all this technology that makes you more efficient. You can still only charge the same amount of hours. You can't charge more hours than you're actually working. In a value-based pricing firm, you bring in all of these products that make you efficient. Now I have time to either build more value with the current clients that I have or add clients into my book of business. So we're going to show you how also with MakersHub, you can save about 90% data entry over some of these other ways of doing it, especially manual. But how you can also take 91 hours of bill entry and turn that into 31 minutes. So, all right. So now what we really need to do is rethink productivity and rethink how if we have multiple employees in our firm, how do we judge that they're doing an efficient job? Not on the hours that they bill anymore, but how efficient they become. And that's really the whole paradox here, is how efficient do we become now with our value-based pricing, And again, that's the key. The more efficient we can become, the more money that we can make within our value-based pricing firms. So we're going to go into this Bob's Barbecue video, and it's going to talk a little bit about how silly it is to actually charge hourly in really any type of company. But here we go.
Hey, welcome to Bob's Barbecue. I'm Bob. What can I get for you?
Yeah, can I get let's get a pulled pork sandwich.
Is that for here or to go?
For here.
I need one order at earmarks on domestic legislation.
Got one pulled pork coming up.
So how much is that going to cost?
$60 an hour.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, $60 an hour. You know, a buck a minute is how we've always done it.
So how long is it going to take?
Typically 5 minutes, but 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. is our busy season, so it's hard to tell for sure.
So So you can't actually tell me how much it's going to cost?
We haven't made it yet.
Yeah, keep your pants on.
Okay, so it's probably going to cost about $5.
Yeah, that's right, Bernanke. It should take about 5 minutes.
So you ever finish in less than 5 minutes?
Dude, there was this one time we made a pulled pork in 3.5 minutes. Guy saved so much money, he bought hush puppies.
And how much are hush puppies?
Hello, $60 an hour. Now, unfortunately, that day we did have a problem with the fryer, and it ended up costing $14 for his hush puppies. But those hush puppies got our undivided attention for 14 minutes. Ended up being some pretty damn good hush puppies too. Remember those hush puppies, Jimbo?
Damn good hush puppies, Bob.
Damn good.
All right.
Don't pay for your food
So
service.
that is the value-based pricing kind of parody on how it works. And if you think about it, right? So how do we talk to our clients about just that? If they don't know how to budget, or if you're going to actually charge them every time they call in, they don't know the right price, or they know the right price, $63 an hour, but they have absolutely no idea how much that is going to cost them. It doesn't really work, and it makes your clients not want to actually engage with their accounting professional, right? So if we actually focus on value-based pricing, it gives our clients the ability to budget now, right? I know exactly what I'm paying. I know exactly what to expect from my accountant or my bookkeeper. And it really means optimizing the firm level efficiency, the ability to manage more clients, like we have here on bullet point number 1. So, and more clients, and you can deepen, or both, the engagement with existing clients. It's just in my opinion, I'm very passionate about this, a better way to handle this. So we talk a little bit about efficiency. And then it allows you to focus on the value prop. So there's a lot of things you can do now, becoming more efficient, especially with cloud-based technologies, right? There's products like MakersHub that you can become a full AP processing for your clients, and base it based on bills, the amount of bills, not on the amount of hours, right? Because bills coming into MakersHub are just that, just really, really simple. They come in. They process all the same with very little human interaction to make sure that everything's correct. And again, like I said on bullet point number 3, clients like it if they can budget every single month on what your services are going to cost. I have just a little anecdote here. My wife, she's just retired, but she owned her own business, and she wanted to find out how much money she could pay our kids and not have to pay taxes on it. So she called the CPA to find out, and they discussed it for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, and she actually received a bill from him a week later for a couple $100 for the interaction. And the first thing she said to me when she after she got that bill is, "I'm never calling the guy for advice like that again. I'll just look it up." And for me, that is the opposite of what I want clients to do. I want my clients to confide in me and find that the value that I bring is that they can call me and ask, or they can Slack me, or they can Skype me, or whatever it is, and I can answer a simple question for them. All right, so now let's take a look at MakersHub and how MakersHub actually came into existence. But the one thing I want to talk about is really to think about value, and price is basically what you pay. So value is what you get, right? Price, if you're always just going on price, then you're always going to be undercut, because there's always going to be somebody that can do it less than you can, unless you're just charging peanuts and nobody else wants to do it. But you're not going to be making any money that way, right? But value is what your clients feel that they're getting from your services. And if the value is there, your clients, it's going to be very difficult for your clients to go somewhere else because of the value that you've built. So introducing MakersHub. So if you take a look at our MakersHub, really the MakersHub story, right? So Fong, our co-founder, was an engineer on these huge tanks. So we were created from the real life challenges of Fong. So like many innovators, Fong began with a personal challenging. He faced the daunting task of constructing these containers, and each one of these containers had 10,000 parts within these containers. So think about that, 10,000 parts. You're getting parts from different vendors. The parts can go up in price, down in price. You may have a container that needs 4 cylinders versus 2 cylinders. So how do you price that out, right? So it wasn't about just building these tanks. It was about, now he would get all of the bills or the invoices from his vendors. And then he would have to go in and meticulously look at all the parts that went into every single one of these containers, right? And the problem is bills vary. Some are long, some are complex. They're all different, right? They're like snowflakes. Every single one of the bills are different than the other. So it makes it really, really difficult. So what Fong did, he's like, okay, we need to get OCR technology. So he tried, like Melio, and he tried Bill.com and all these other products to extract the data, but it just wasn't par for what he needed it to do. So from there, that brings Fong decided to build a product that could actually grab all this information and detailed level information and bring that into his into the accounting, so he could do some cost analysis and see what it was actually going to take to, for the next one. How am I going to do estimates if I don't even know what the current VAT that I'm doing or the container that I'm doing actually costs? So that's how MakersHub was actually brought into fruition. Is Fong had this huge problem, couldn't get anything on the market that actually worked, and actually developed it himself. But now, because of the technology and bridging the gap in the OCR technology with our Wise Vision, so Fong tried all the other OCR products that are out there, right? Not just like Bill.com, but I'm talking about behind the product of what OCR technology can do. And if you think about the OCR technology, most of these companies all use the same handful of OCR technology. None of them worked the way he wanted it to. So what did he do? He built Wise Vision, the proprietary technology that allows us to do the scanning of documents, that makes it more efficient and faster and accurate, so you all can get to doing what you do best. And it's not entering data, it's telling stories about the data, right? So that's really what we built here at MakersHub. So it's smart data capture, enhanced OCR technology. So I always call it beyond OCR, right? It's Wise Vision is beyond OCR technology. And you're going to see that as we go through the demonstration, and you're going to see the efficiencies. So I truly believe in the efficiencies that this creates. And you're going to see a couple of examples as to why. And how we can go into an actual invoice within MakersHub and point to different areas within the invoice that we want to extract data from after it's been extracted. So without further ado, I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you a little bit of compare contrast on MakersHub and Bill.com. So we're going to pull up an invoice here, and I'm going to drop a few invoices into Bill.com and then a few invoices into MakersHub. This way, I don't have to keep switching back and forth from product to product. So let me log into Bill.com and let me go into Bezel, and I'm going to just start dragging things in. So if you look at the invoices that I'm going to drag in, I am going to drag in a Home Depot invoice. Look at this invoice. It's long. It's a lot of information in here. I wouldn't want to actually have to type in all of this information because I do need every single line. I need the description, I need the SKU number, I need the unit price, the quantity, and the subtotal. I also want to, like I said, pull out the SKU number so I can add this information to QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, right? I need to add inventory as I do this and the price per inventory. So we're going to drop I'm going to go into the inbox here for Bill.com, and I'm just going to drop the Home Depot invoice in, and then we'll go into MakersHub and drop it in as well. All right, the next invoice we're going to take a look at is this Belimo invoice. Now this one is crazy. We have, not only do we have the item number looking like it's within the description, right? So this is a very confusing invoice, not only just for me to look at, but for OCR technology most likely to look at as well. So I'm going to drop this one into Bill.com, and I'm going to drop it into MakersHub as well. And then we're going to go through and we're going to compare the differences between the two. Oops, sorry. So there we go. That's in there. And then the other one I'm going to do is this. So think about when we talk about efficiency in your firm and your client sends you a file with invoices that looks like this. So you have your first invoice, you have your second one, same vendor, different invoice. You have a third invoice, a fourth invoice, you have a handwritten receipt, and then a bunch of other sales receipts that have been paid by credit card already. Now, I've talked to a lot of CPAs, and they tell me they wouldn't even put this in to Bill.com at all because they know it would not extract the data out correctly. But we're going to put it into Bill.com just for giggles, and then we're going to put it into MakersHub for giggles as well. All right. So the combine, and I put it into MakersHub. Oh, sorry, hold on. Drag it to the documents file. Okay, so let's go in now, and we'll take a look at some of the differences here. So let's go into the very first one that I put in, which is Home Depot. All right, I'm going to hit Enter Bill. It's great. It says, oh, the vendor is probably Home Depot. Perfect. There's no PO number, which I know there's a PO number, but there isn't one here. So I'm going to have to figure out how to type that in. There's only a total, right? And I have to I can't just scroll to the total. I have to hit the next button, and that's not where the total is. So here's the total at the end, the 21. So it pulled out the total correctly. Great. Due upon receipt. It has all that information, but it doesn't have any of the details. So what do? I have to add 10 line items. Now, this invoice itself could take me at least 10, 15 minutes to enter in correctly, right? And to make sure that I've entered it in correctly. So I'm going to go over to MakersHub, and we're going to take a look at the Home Depot invoice within MakersHub. So this is the exact same invoice that was pulled in. If you take a look, I can say, oh, PO number is, I'm going to do a little bit of learning here on it. And I'm going to say the PO number is this. Now it will always look at this specific area for PO number. It knows that it's Home Depot, but look at this. It's taken out every single data line item that is within this bill. Every single one, it's pulled out the SKU number and put it over there. I can add these in to QuickBooks now by simply just clicking a couple of buttons. I have this on accounting view, so I can take a look at some of the last projects that we've assigned these to, and all I need to do, I can select the project, or I can just hit it up here. But I'm going to select cell towers, and I want every single one of these is to cell towers except for maybe one line. So I'm just going to drop it down, and I'm going to go to the one line, and I'm going to say this goes to Duke's basketball camp. Okay, so I've just done all of the customer jobs, and now I'm going to go into class, and I'm going to say it's New York, and I'm going to push that all the way down as well. Now, the other thing that we can do is integration mapping. So I can say anytime it comes from anytime it's a specific item number, set it as an expense instead of an item. I can say the chart of account. I can go into the chart of account codes. I can do customer and projects. So there's a lot of things on this specific invoice that I can create and make sure that it's done correctly. Now, when I've done this PO up here, right, it automatically does training for me. So it's already said anytime that the PO number, that this specific type of an invoice comes in from Home Depot, the PO number is always right there on the invoice where we saw it. So I no longer have to do that. It just automatically knew that I was doing a PO number. We can also track location within here and put that into QuickBooks as well. All right, so there's the one. Let's go now. We're going to go back to Bill.com, and I'm going to take a look at the Belimo invoice as well, right? Belimo air controls. I have the PO number that it actually did pull out, right? But it didn't pull out the correct PO number. It pulled out part of it. It didn't correct it didn't actually pull out the rest. So I need to make sure that I put that in. So, right, that is a item that would most likely be overlooked if I were just the regular old person typing this in, right? I'd be like, oh, pulled in the PO number. Okay, great. And then I would go down, and now I have to go in and actually add this other stuff that's in here, right? And the problem is also, I can't just add it all by scrolling down. I actually have to hit, okay, next. And now I add it, and then next. And now I add it again. Very inefficient, very, very difficult for me to actually maneuver and do the stuff that I need to do. So we're going to take a look and think about this in processing and your time spent doing it. Sure, products like Bill.com, legacy type OCR products got us halfway there, right? But I still need to do a lot of data entry. It's not, for efficiency's sake, this is not what we should be doing. So if I go into MakersHub and I go into the Belimo, right? I have my 30 days net. I have the full PO. I know for a fact that it's pulled out the correct PO. I have my 30 days net terms, and I have every single detail of the items, and I can look at them as I just scroll down. I don't have to hit next. I can just scroll down and take a look at everything that I have here and look at what it's done. It's pulled out the SKU number from the actual description area. It's pulled out the amount of each piece that is in the invoice, the dollar amount that goes to each piece, right? And then the total amount at the bottom for us to create the bill and pay the bill either through MakersHub if we would like to, or it would send that information into QuickBooks for us. So look at the difference between that. I don't have to type in these 10 lines or however many they are. I don't have to do really anything to this. It's already found it in QuickBooks, and it's extracted out all the detailed data, the data level detail that I want. Now, let's just say for whatever reason, I don't need the detail. I can hit collapse line item, and I can say I always want the description in the line item to be the PO number, just for my own benefit. So I have PO number, I can hit boom. And now this will always be like this. Anytime for this client that this invoice comes in, I've already trained it to know that I don't need to see the detail, just collapse it and put the description as the PO number. So that's how simple that is. All right, so the other one that we need to do now is the one that you probably, if I know the way that you all work, would not even attempt to put this into a product like Bill.com. And I'll tell you why. This one, even though it's two separate bills, right? It's entered them in as one. And what it's done is it's missed completely this bill. So $99.50, I wouldn't even have paid. If I was just the normal person here, I would not have seen this and paid this bill, right? The $99 one, because it doesn't show it here. I would have just thought, all right, this is just one bill and we're good to go. When in actuality, it was this bill. And there's no line items. All right, so it's done that. But now let's go take a look at this next one here. So in this Kimura Plus, it's taken these for whatever reason, I don't know. It's taken these two bills together, right? And it has a Kimura Plus as the vendor, and it has the $42 from this receipt as the amount. Has nothing else on here, and it's completely wrong. I don't even know what we would do with that one. Probably not enter it, like I said, right? And then on these ones, it's done the same thing, two separate, and it thinks it's one. So this is really confusing. This alone right here would probably take 50 minutes to an hour to fix, to enter in the data, to do all of that. So let's go take a look now. And again, we're talking about efficiencies. We're talking about how do we get more money, more revenue stream into our practice. And doing efficiencies like this, in my opinion, is the way to go. So we have all of our invoices, as you see here. We have one that's upside down. That's the 1407. We have this one, that's the 9905. We have the all separated out, the Kimura Plus. So let's take a look at these. So here's the one for $99.50 that was missed, right? within the legacybill.com. So I have everything here that needs to be. I have the correct amount of $99.50. Let's go to the next bill to review. And this one is the 1407. I have every single line item that's in here and 1407. So we're going to go now to the Kimura Plus, this one. So this was a handwritten receipt, okay? And what MakersHub has done is it's realized it's its own receipt, obviously, but it's also taken out the handwritten information. It's scanned it, and it's also reviewed it and put in the information based on this handwritten receipt. Now, maybe this Sunny Alexander Flowers is the actual PO number. So I'm going to tell MakersHub right now that anytime it sees information on this line item, that is always the PO number. So now it's just saved it just like that, and will always look there the next time that it sees a bill like this. And then we'll go to the next one, which is the receipt. We can say action, move to receipts, and send that information in to remove to receipts. So there's other things that we can do within here, right? So I can go into accounts payable. Now, because MakersHub and the Wise Vision technology can do so much, if you take a look at what it's done here to this CR clearance, it's taken a look at the terms within the invoice, and I'm going to show you the invoice really quickly, right? So if I take a look on here, we don't see terms, but if I look within here, it's going to say terms 2% 10th prox net 30. What does that mean? If I pay this bill by the 10th, I get a 2% discount, right? So how would I get that within like a bill.com? Because it's probably not going to scan that, and the regular person doing this may not even know that that's in there. So if I take a look, the 2/10 net prox, I'm going to hit schedule payment. If this was actually within the date, right? Because it's December 10th. If this was on the right date, it would actually say, if you pay this now, let's say we're on December 8th, you will save X amount of dollars, 2%. So, a couple of bucks. It'll have an apply button. I can apply it to the scheduled payment. And it will also, all that information, you can pay it straight from here in MakersHub, or I can transfer that information into QuickBooks for payment as well. So it not only just says, okay, here's the terms, but it will actually do calculations based on the terms, based on what the actual terms are. So you can take advantage of paying your bills earlier to save money if that's what you wanted to do. It's pretty awesome stuff. All right, the next thing, this is something I absolutely really enjoy. So I'm going to go into this scanned image. Now, a lot of us get emails, we'll review it. We don't necessarily want to actually download it. What folder did I download it into? What folder do I upload it from? So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot from the preview, mind you. This isn't even, I didn't even open it up in like this and take the screenshot. Let me see if I can open it. See, I didn't even open it like this. I just did it from this little preview screen. And now what I'm going to do, excuse me, is go back into MakersHub. I'm just going to hit Control V and paste this in. So as you see, I just pasted a screenshot in to MakersHub from a preview screen, and I'm going to let Wise Vision Technology take over from here. As it's scanning that, guys, though, and gals, I'm going to go into the admin, and I'm going to show you a few other things. In bill processing, we can enable location. We can do some pretty tricky and slick workflow approvals. So if the invoice is over this amount, send to here. If the vendor equals this, send it only to this approver. All your bills can be sent into an accounts payable inbox, right? So your clients can scan 20 bills from their scanner and just email them straight into the specific inbox for that client, and all the information is here as you go in. Now we can set up our users and our user groups. There's unlimited users on MakersHub, so we don't charge you and nickel and dime you by user as well. So let's go back to the dashboard really quickly and go in and review bills. Let's see if I can get this one to hurry up here. See if we can push that through a little bit. Let me do this. All right. So let's go back in and take a look at one more bill while we're doing this, because this is what I wanted to show you about the clearance. So if I take this one, and this is the one that was the 10th net procs, right? And I put this into bill.com. So I'm going to just drag it in. It's going to go into bill.com. And then it's analyzing. I'm going to take a look at it. Now, it basically, as soon as it's done analyzing, it's not going to pull up any payment terms. It's not going to show me really anything, right, within the bill. It's going to say there's no payment terms whatsoever. It doesn't have a PO number. It has absolutely nothing. So what good is this? I could type these 4 fields in like no problem at all. It's going to take me no time at all to do that. So how is this efficient by any means of the word, right? There we go. So lands, feed, warehouse. Again, guys, this is a screenshot. I just did a screenshot of this and pasted it into MakersHub, and this is what it did. It pulled out all the information for me. It pulled out the company name, the vendor name, I should say. It pulled out the PO number. It pulled everything out for me, even the description, all the details, everything. So this is what I'm talking about when we talk about efficiency and how efficiency works within the value-based pricing. Doing something like this to be able to save yourself, let's just say 90 hours a month, maybe even more, based on what your client's level of bills that they have, is a game changer for you in your value-based practice. So that there for you is the quick overview of a product. We're going to go back into MakersHub, the Death by PowerPoint, and talk a little bit about us being a game changer in AP and unleashing efficiency. So dramatic reduction in time, right? I mean, as you can see, this is a dramatic reduction in time. Being able to just have invoices emailed in, scanned correctly with all the data fields, with the accuracy there. Okay, like, I mean, we're talking about 90% plus, 95% plus accuracy, and then synchronizing that straight into all versions of QuickBooks, QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, and then being able to efficiently process your bills either through QuickBooks Online or through MakersHub, whichever you decide. It is a game changer for your transforming your client services, right? So you can focus on your client. You can focus on different things now, different things to bring into your services, to bring into your accounting firm. AP management as a value-based add-on, right, could be extremely profitable for you as a CPA, as a bookkeeper. And then we're allowing you real-world application to handle complex invoicing tasks, things that would take you in some cases hours to input and find. Now you can get some of these larger clients that have this. So let's go into frequently asked questions about value-based pricing, right? And then one of them is, how do I compete? So these are things that these are questions that I always get about value-based pricing. We're going to go through just a handful of questions. How do I compete with firms that aggressively underbid me? If you're getting underbid, it's because the person you're presenting your services to do not believe in the promised value that you're presenting to them. They don't believe that what you are saying you will do for them is real. So what you need to do is build a shared vision with your prospective clients. Anecdotes and case studies are awesome, but you need to be able to verbally tell them and get them to buy in to what your vision is for all of your clients, what you do for your clients, and specifically what you're going to do for them. Then you won't get underbid, because price isn't as much of a factor when you actually build on value and not just on hourly. Hey, we're $90 an hour. Okay, well, Joe Smith is $85 an hour. That's not the way to do it. How do you explain value-based pricing to your clients? You just let them know, hey, this is a fixed fee pricing. No matter what you need done based on these levels of pricing, this is what's going to do. That's what's going to do it for you. $500 a month, $1,000, whatever it is. And it allows you, Mr. Client, to budget. So you no longer have to worry about like the year-end like craziness of getting $2,000 bills and every quarter you get some more because I had to run these reports for you. This is it. Every month, you can budget, and this is exactly what you're getting. It actually makes more sense to your clients to know what they're getting, the price they're paying for it. And the only other industry that does this are really lawyers and doctors, right? And besides accountants that are like, hey, you know what? It's the hourly price. This is what this is what I think I'm going to do for you. I don't know how much it's going to cost because it may take 1 hour. It may take 11 hours. It's not an efficient way to do it. And this is $1 million. The next one's the $1 million question. How do I know my client's value? And I really, really love this one, because all you need to do is ask them. Your clients that you currently have right now that are like your A-list clients, why did they come with you and why do they continue to stay with you? That is, and what do they value in your relationship with them? What are you doing with them that makes them stay? You can also do surveys. You can hire telemarketing companies out of the Philippines that are like $9 an hour to do telemarketing calls for you, for your business, and do telemarketing calls for surveys that you put together. They have their own list. They can get you all sorts of types of clients, and at least potential clients. So these are different ways to understand, but the most important thing is to just ask them, you'll be very amazed at how open your clients will be if you just spend a little time and ask them what they value. All right, so let's talk about conclusions and key takeaways. So efficiency gains with MakersHub, right? As you can see within the demonstration that I did, there's a significant reduction in manual data entry, even if you're doing a like a Bill.com, right? So you may think you're automated already, but but you still have a ton of data entry that needs to be done even when you think you're being efficient because of data accuracy, right? Some of the data is wrong. You may have you may have to go in and change a whole invoice. You may not even be able to upload all the other invoices. Customization and flexibility, maybe because Bill.com in most cases charges by user. You're not able to have the automation workflow or the approval workflow that you need. MakersHub, 100% unlimited users. You can have the workflow that you want for approvals and things of that nature. And then the cost effectiveness, we don't charge per user, so the cost is actually going to save you time and save you money. And then the other thing, this strategic business opportunity to actually provide AP services in a value-based structure to your clients, or if you're already doing it, to actually become efficient doing it is just an amazing opportunity for you all to do. So the next step, we do have a MakersHub partner program. You can get MakersHub for free. We will have a CPE certification program, so you'll be able to earn CPE with this. And we have dedicated support and all the other stuff. So we hope that you'll take a look. I am going to hand this back over to the fellows over at Earmark and let them finish this wonderful presentation up. I think. I might have.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
I got it from here.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ted. And to all of our attendees, if you're interested in earning CPE, keep an eye out for an email in the next few days. It will contain instructions on how to take a short quiz through the Earmark app. If you have any questions or concerns, please email support@earmarkcpe.com. And have a great rest of your day, guys.
Thank you all.